Hello, everyone, and welcome back to RGL, where we have the very start of playoffs tonight. It's going to be Froyotech versus Fjord Gaming. It's going to be an exciting best of three. My name's TC Mano. I am joined by Unicorn Wizard. We got Dolphin on production, as always, and tonight we're going to start off this best of three on product. I think it might be the first time we've seen it, at least this season, so excited to see some King of the Hill gameplay. Unicorn Wizard, how are you doing, and what are your thoughts for this upcoming best of three?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to cast TF2. It's been a hot minute since I've done it. I haven't really been able to follow it that close this season due to some stuff going on in my life, so I'm happy to be here. I think this will be interesting because I was doing some research, looking at the season, looking at results and everything before we started tonight. I didn't realize how dominant Froyo, what was going on in Invite with Froyo this season. This is a very dominant season for them thus far. So the Koth pick is interesting, I guess. It's if you're that much more dominant, I guess it makes sense. I'm curious though. I'm curious, I'm not trying to discount Fjord because you have a bunch of good players, especially on a map like Product, where one individual player can just go nuts. So I think we're in for a good treat. I think Froyotech is obviously the favorite, right? But I don't think it's as dire as some people might think.
No, well, I definitely agree on a lot of it. I think there's some opportunities for Fjord to get into us, and like you said, it can be a map where you just have that one standout player, maybe someone who goes on to sniper, and Yosh, we know, is a very, very capable sniper, so wouldn't be too surprised to maybe see them whip that out. But I guess, like you said, we can recap a little bit with the rosters. Froyotech's season has been essentially flawless. We said, we were talking before we went live, that they haven't lost a round, they haven't lost a game, and they have almost won every single round possible. They only had a 4-0 versus Global Clan Zhao, and that was on a 5 CP, so not the most possible there, but otherwise they've been basically perfect, you'd have to say, and a large part of it is because of his roster. I mean, you look at it, Banny and Kobe as scout, that's just already an insane scout duo. You got Habib on demo, as always, longtime demo man for Froyotech, Speedy and Soapy as the two soldiers, and then Lol Guy on medic is just absolutely, he is probably the best medic, at least in North America, you could argue in the world, depending on how you view the Fireside LAN that happened recently. But that roster completely stand out top to bottom. But Fjord Gaming, it's funny because you came in and you're like, if this wasn't this Froyotech, you'd have to look at the Fjord Gaming roster and be like, wait, that's some really great players as well. It's just that Froyotech is looking so dominant.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what you said. They're really dominant. This Fjord roster is nothing to sneeze at. Exile and Yosh are really, really good scouts. And like you kind of alluded to earlier on Koth, if we see Yosh sniper, there could be some interesting things happen. Yosh is, in my opinion, probably one of the best, if not best, Highlander snipers ever, and obviously in sixes. Beyond that, Grape Juice and Alex are very good soldiers as well. I think they're a lot better than some people like to give them credit for, to be honest with you. They have a really good understanding of the game and know how to make that impact. It is normally Jarrett. Tonight is Dingo, and Dingo is a really, really good demo man. He's, on a personal level, probably the demo man I hate playing against the most, just because he can punish you in ways that a lot of players can't. And then Bear on medic. Bear's been around forever. He's an incredibly talented medic as well. So yeah, if it wasn't this Froyotech roster right now, I would be singing a very different tune. But I still don't think it's, like I said, I still don't think it's hopeless. This is a good roster. If they are able to put everything together like the way we've seen a lot of these players play in the past, I think this can legitimately be close. It's just a matter of if they do that.
Yeah, it is a matter of if they do that, and also if Froyotech are able to kind of respond and bounce back, and that is kind of the danger with this Froyotech roster. And we've seen it a lot of times in previous Froyotech iterations that there will be kind of just such a plethora, a surplus of good players that even if you take 3 of them down, you still have the other 3 and okay, just randomly, okay, that's Soapy, Banny, and maybe Kobe. That's 3 really good players.
Hmm.
And we've seen all of them in just different teams, different rosters, different scenarios manage to absolutely turn the tides. So all of them have that kind of playmaking ability. So I think for Fjord Gaming, having Yosh having a standout game on Sniper would absolutely give them a greater chance, but I think it's gonna be a tall ask. They can do it. Question is if, as we are about to go live on the first map of this best of 3 Unicorn Wizard. What are your predictions real quick?
I'm going to say 4-1 in favor of Froyo, just due to, honestly, the DM and skill level on each team. I would not be surprised if it's different, but I'm going to say 4-1. We have started, and it is default. No Yosh on Sniper yet.
And no Yosh on Sniper, and that is the same for Froyotech. Grape Juice getting very impressive, not going to find anything. Yosh as well going down. Alexandros bombing in, does find one onto Alexandros, but we do have a pulse OP onto Bear. Oh no, that is not a great way to start out this match. Alexandros is just making his way back to spawn, has to dodge for long-range rocket from Soapy, but I mean, if there's one way to show how dominant Froyotech have been, it's that mid.
Yeah, and oh, there's the sniper. There's the Yosh sniper. Okay, this is probably the worst spot for a sniper when you're being forward held. They do have the pyro. They are going to lose Alex, and I think Grape Juice is just dead immediately too. We have a pause? We do have a pause.
Yeah.
Okay, so Exile's about to die on pyro. No, Exile's going to live. No one's shooting him. Diggo's dead. They're not going to get this force. They do have Yosh on sniper, but there's not oh no, he got off sniper. He's on scout now. Yeah, okay, they're not getting a force here. So this forward hold is going to stay. The spawns aren't that bad. So, it's like, what, like 10, 15 seconds more off the clock. That's fine. They can set up again. Kobe lagged out, I see. One thing I wanted to... where does Kobe hold on the forwards? Oh, they're all on concrete. If Kobe is the guy who goes cliff, the scout who goes cliff, they're not in... They can still forward hold, honestly. You can do that forward hold without a scout. So we'll just see if they still do. But what I did want to say earlier, I mean, this is going to age me, but it was I-52 or I-55, so however long ago that was, it's getting close to 10 years, if it's not already 10 years. But whenever that was, that iteration of Froyo, I think was probably the best at playing product of any team that I've ever seen, and they didn't off-class once. It was incredibly dominant, and they were playing, and this was in an international LAN when they were playing against, Flippy, I think Thalash was playing, right? They were playing against these incredibly godly snipers on product, which is probably the best sniper map, and Banny's team they were just wiping the floor with them, never off-classing once. So it's really hard to beat a Banny team on product, is what I'm trying to say. He has a very, very good understanding of how this map works. So I'm curious if the sniper does come out, how effective it is going to be. But for now, they're about to lose Dingo. XL may be dead as well. So you're going to get 10, 15 seconds off this forward hold, which again is fine. It's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah.
Yeah. Froyotech in a really great position. And like you said, if Yosh, we did see him switch onto Sniper just for a little bit, but maybe there's a little bit of a miscommunication with them trying to go for the sack wave attempt to break the forward hold at the moment. But if he does come back up on Sniper, which I'm sure will happen sometime later in this match, like you said, Froyotech, they have had a lot of experience dealing with snipers, Banny in particular. And if it was the I-55 one where that happened, he would have been on Soldier. And, a lot of that does come down to the soldiers being proactive, being able to take down the sniper. And so a lot of eyes would then be on Soapy and Speed, the two Froyotech soldiers, to try and go in and deny Yosh the opportunity to hit shots, because as we kind of hinted at earlier, Yosh is one of those players where if you let him take shots, he will hit them. So Froyotech might have that conundrum on their hands. Of course, the other option, instead of sending your soldiers in, is to have your own sniper try and counter snipe them. And I don't know how much you've seen Unicorn, but Kobe 1920 has been fulfilling that flank scout role as the designated off-classer onto sniper beautifully, hitting shot after shot. And I think an SVS between the two would be very, very tense and very close.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but that does not surprise me. I mean, anytime I ever like, if it's a pug or watching like just Kobe playing any class is like jaw dropping. He's so he's just so good at everything. So it does not surprise me that he is a godly sniper as well. But yeah, like you said, you just if they know how to deal with the sniper, realistically, it's probably just going to be like Soapy bombing in, right? So we'll be bombing in, everyone else kind of pressures. Because that's really just how you deal with the sniper, right? You back him up, and then you make everyone back up to try to support him, and you as a team go forward. But, yeah, we'll see. This is a long crash.
Yeah, it is a long crash. Hopefully, it's just a crash and nothing much more. For if we have our information right, Kobe 1920 lagging out of the server, and like you said, I mean, they could. I wouldn't say it's a total scumbag move, but they could scumbag their way out and use Kobe's death to maybe try and peek and pressure a little bit more, if that so is the case. Because unlike in a 5CP where now, especially with the infinite overtime, running the clock down doesn't really matter as much. Sure, you have the round reset, but it's not as big of a deal as it was maybe previously when you had that 30-minute hard limit. Now you've got continuous overtime, so you can just kind of drain the clock and reset and get into position. A little bit harder to do that on King of the Hill. Obviously, this happened 90 seconds into the future, so they might not even be forward holding at the moment. And, best case scenario for Froyotech, Kobe was already dead or maybe about to die, so it didn't matter. But we do have a little unpause, repause, so hopefully that's him getting admitted back into the server so he can start sending his client info. But yeah, interested to see. Luckily, though, it's not one of the medics, which is probably the worst case scenario, especially on King of the Hill.
That's the worst feeling in the world. Especially, I notice a lot of the times it happens when one team is getting momentum too. All of a sudden, their medic just crashes. But yeah, it's got to be the worst feeling in the world. But it is still early, right? I mean, really, all that's happened in this map so far. We've been sitting here for a while, kind of talking, being almost doomers about Fjord. But all that's really happened is they've lost mid, and this sack is not being that effective, which is really normal for Product, right? It's normal to have a bad mid. It's normal. This forward hold is hard to get out of, even with that pyro. Like, nothing that we've seen thus far really speaks to anything other than it being a normal game.
Yeah, no, I would agree. There's still a lot of potential for Fjord Gaming, and just gonna have to wait and see how they deliver it. It is also to be noted, we kind of mentioned it, but Dingo in for Jarrett. I'm not sure, maybe a little bit more, Unicorn, how active of maybe like a team leader Jarrett is, if that you think that's going to be a big kind of swap for them to get used to. You said that Dingo's maybe the player you dislike most playing against, because he's got that X factor about him. But do you think it might be a little bit of a swap up there, or do you think he's going to be able to slot in pretty well?
It's been a while since I've I've rung, whatever the word is, for Fjord in the past a few times, but it's been a minute since I've done that, as we are unpaused. I think Jarrett, he is pretty active. However, given the names on Fjord, I don't know. I feel like they can just take over the mantle, even if Jarrett was being this, like, really, holding everybody together team leader.
Yeah, that is true. They have a lot of experience on Fjord Gaming and on Froyotech, but Fjord have been around in some iteration or another for many, many seasons. As they try and push out once again, Exile going to be able to make some space. They get a couple of kills. Danny and Kobe both going down, so now the forward hold is definitely broken. The pick onto Soapy is just going to be a benefit as Grape Juice bombs in, tries to get the spoon, not going to find it, but it's going to do a lot of damage. They find one onto Habib, but Lol Guy and Speedy are going to be able to get out, so that's going to be vital for Froyotech, but really great stuff for Fjord Gaming, breaking that forward hold and not having to use Uber to do it.
I have to retry because my HUD is broken. Did Lokai use, or is my game just busted?
They both
have. Okay,
they both
he didn't
have
use.
Uber.
My game just broke. Okay, cool. So Dingo's dead. This is a hard situation to be in. Demo is so good at forward holding and just denying all this aggression that you're seeing from Froyo slowly happen.
This is where Kobe's just AFK.
Oh yeah, they don't have a scout. It is a 5v5. You're right.
Yeah, I don't think they realize that, and maybe Froyotech don't realize it because they're trying to fight. Exile goes and takes down Banny. Lolguy deciding not to use. They're not going to find anyone else, but they don't have a scout to retake this Uber, and they're probably saying, Kobe, where are you? Take this Uber in, and they don't realize that Kobe is just not there to do so. So, actually kind of unfortunate for Froyotech.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, although that Uber coming out of Fjord was not the most well advised. I get the idea. You want to use in, get some pressure on, and make Lolguy use in a disadvantaged situation. As I say that, everyone's flying in. It's a family Uber. Bear might live. No, he gets cleaned up at the end by Speedy, and it looks like basically everybody is gonna die. Yeah, Exile and Dingo live, but everyone else is dead. Back to that initial Uber. The idea is, right, you use in aggressively. They're all the way back, almost in their main. You get them to use a disadvantageous spot, and you get out with your scout. Problem is, Lolguy is an incredibly good medic, and he did not feel the need to force there, right? A medic who's maybe a little less experienced or just not as good may feel the need to force there and cost his team the Uber. Lolguy holds it, and now we're in this situation.
We are familiar for Fjord. They're trying to break out of this forward hold, doing a lot of reflecting to the soldiers, but not finding any kills just quite yet. Banny finding another. Yosh is going to be able to trade out with Kobe, so that is going to be at least one pick to make this forward hold a little bit shakier for Froyotech, as Fjord are going to get the respawners a lot quicker. Soapy getting some nice damage on the bear. He's going to have to go all the way back and get some health before they try and push this again.
Yeah. You kind of, and Exile's dead as they're bombing through. They're gonna lose Grape Juice. Alex, Speedy might get cleaned up, and Alex dies. So all of a sudden, this is good. Yosh is still in. He is gonna get cleaned up. So again, the forward hold just is gonna stay strong. Honestly, getting that one player. Oh, Kobe's on sniper. I didn't realize.
Oh, neither did I.
He's just sitting on rock on mid.
Kobe on sniper, and this is going to be a surprise for Fjord Gaming. Alexandros goes down to a sticky trap as they try and work their way forward. They don't have Uber advantage, but they need to get onto the point. Only 20 seconds left for Froyotech. Kobe up in China at the moment. Hasn't hit a shot. Actually, say that immediately gets one on the Exxon. That's going to be so bad. Yosh disconnected. Not really there to take the Uber in. Now going to meet back up. They do take the Uber, and Grape Juice going to die before the Uber. They want to try and get on the Kobe. Just find any picks at all. The counter Uber for Froyotech a lot better. They're on the point. You can see that Yosh trying to fight it, but not going to be able to stay on the point, and that's going to be the first round for Froyotech.
Oh wait, he did hit that. What the heck? Okay. All right. So he's just perfect. Anyways, all right. Froyo wins the first round. That's a hard position to do anything in, right? You're like 15 seconds left. You got to push out into a sniper. At that point, you just got to get aggressive. And they didn't. They lost players. And here, Dingo just gets run down by Kobe. This spin's over, right? There's like nothing that can happen in this situation. Alex does bomb in. Solo bomb immediately cleaned up. Yosh is dead.
Yeah, that is going to be a very good mid for Froyotech, as they're setting up for a forward hold once again. Fjord Gaming getting a lot of practice trying to break this. Gonna wait for their respawners, as it's gonna be Lone Habib watching Cliff as everyone else on Froyotech gets on to concrete and tries to take hold of it. Yosh gonna be on sniper again, maybe trying to see if he can get a cheeky pick onto Habib, but everyone else is busting through on the other side. Grape Juice making a little bit of space, not dying yet, maybe trying to get his team in, but isn't going to find anything. It's only going to be Dingo and Bear. Dingo dying to a bow from Lolguy. That's not going to be ideal. It's a very short respawn, but the thing you don't want to do is just kind of drip feed players.
On some level, I feel like you almost try to bust out Cliff here, right? Like, they've been so good with this forward hold here on concrete. If you go Cliff, okay, yes, maybe you lose the soldier or scout initially. Oh no, they just use out.
Yeah, they do just use out. They're not really finding anyone. Kobe hiding is actually going to get the one against Yoshin, managing to work his way behind. Now taking a 1v1 versus Exile, buying so much time. Meets up with Soapy by Cliff, and Froyotech are just immediately regaining all of the space, and they're not even having to use Uber. They do lose one in Soapy, but they've already shown they're happy to forward hold a man down, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah, it's one man down. You absolutely can still forward hold. Although, looking at, again, just go out Cliff. Oh, there go. Look at, oh my god, they're just in main. Oh, they're all dead.
Oh my god, they're getting wrapped, they're getting wrapped, they're getting pincered by the Froyotech Uber. They came around through main, and that is a full wipe. No one alive, and I think Froyotech are trying to forward the spawn camp here. They got Habib with the stickies, the soldiers on the doorways, and this is a world of pain if you are Fjord Gaming. They should be able to break this. The Pyro going to be able to reflect all those projectiles back. Yosh coming up on Sniper just in case they were a little bit cheeky, staying a bit too long, but Froyotech absolutely dominant at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's smart of them to give that up. Alexander's the skybox. Soapy, okay, Bear kills Soapy. That's a good kill. It is 2 for 1, but again, it is the forward hold that they care about breaking out of, and it seems like they have. Habib is just in-house. They could maybe get on him. They do get on him to clean him up, but now the scouts are just in. Yosh might be getting cleaned up. No, he is going to die. All right, Froyo should get this point. Or, excuse me, Fjord should get this point.
And they are going to desperately want it, but the Froyotech Uber is going to come in. Luckily, Bear has his own, so Fjord going to be able to use, but Soapymeister still getting a kill on Dingo in the backlines over towards Cliff. Now going to be able to jump out, going to get taken down by Yosh. Very crucial pick by Froyotech. They might be feeling like they want to hold on just a little bit, at least get overtime would be their ideal case scenario, but Fjord going to be able to capture it up the first time this round as Grape Juice unfortunately craters to his death.
Yeah, Grape Juice craters. Kobe trade as well, though, and Scout is way more important than Soldier on this map, so that's a great pick. But as I say that, though, they lose their own Scout. Exile's dead, and they're kind of all split up.
My God.
Yeah. It's rough out here.
It is a little bit rough as they try and make their way onto the point, but it's just not gonna be enough. Grape Juice gonna go for one final bomb with a Market Gardener of his own. Not gonna be able to connect the upward direction. That is gonna be 2-0 for Froyo.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to say, honestly. It's just they're just dominating them, right? The forward holding at spawn was diabolical. Honestly, I don't even think it's disrespect either. Like, you know Banny's taking this as seriously as humanly possible. He's calling that, and they immediately got out as well. Like, if you're disrespecting them, you're staying in that forward hold. It was just, I guess, the right call. Okay, Dingo is not dead immediately, so this mid is already going a little bit better.
Oh, both soldiers going to be bombing for Fjord Gaming. Getting a lot of space, but not going to find any kills at all. They're both going to be taken down. Kobe on the flank. Nicer from Dingo to be able to stay alive, but there's someone on the chase. It is Speedy trying to follow up through Connector. Is going to find one on the Bear, and Sophie wraps around for the kill onto Dingo. It's only Exile. Does find one onto Habib. So at bare minimum, that should make sure that they don't get forward held, because not having a demo and a soldier kind of makes it a bit impossible. So going to be a little bit for Fjord, even though they still do lose the mid.
Yeah, that was probably the best mid they have so far, honestly, with Yosh being on Sniper. So let's see, do they have another Scout? Do they have a Soldier go Scout? They don't. Usually what happens is you have one of your Soldiers go Scout, because like I was saying earlier, Scout is way more important than Soldier on this map. They don't, though, so it's just Exile on Scout while Yosh is on Sniper. He's playing, and they're down 2, so Yosh is going to have to back up. Okay. Yeah.
It is it's kind of Sophie's world at the moment. Everyone on Fjord Gaming having to deal with it. They're making their way out from spawn. Luckily, Bear able to stay alive, so they are going to have their Uber. They did force out Lol guys, so even though Froyotech got all their kills, that is kind of to be expected. You do have some hiders up on the awning. Soapymeister going for a bomb around, trying to anticipate the Uber. A little bit of an off timing as the Uber now comes out. They do find an early kill onto Kobe, who is once again lurking in the back lines. They get a lot of space. They might be able to capture it up. A bit of time before Lol guy has his own, but Alexander's going for a big bomb. Wants to commit onto Lol guy. Is going to crater Yosh with the follow-up, and now there's only going to be 2 left alive. As long as they can keep Bear up and not lose Dingo, this is going to be a good position for Fjord Gaming.
Yeah, that was really well played by them. They caught Froyo a little bit too aggressive, which is something that they're usually really good at not doing. So, really well played. Okay, now we have another sniper on the field, and that is Kobe again. So, do they have 2 scouts? No, they're doing the 1 scout thing too. All right, well, let's see if they're a little more effective with it. Because usually what you do with sniper, right, you just play around him. You don't necessarily need to go aggressive. Your sniper has so much open range on this map. He's just going to hit shots. like that. He hits Grape Juice down to like 50. Yosh and Grape Juice are getting destroyed on the flank. There they both go, and now the sniper has more free reign.
Yeah, they are going to use their Uber in. They want to try and get onto Loga again. Dingo chasing in so deep to get this medic. Now in a 1v1 and is not going to be able to hit the pipes. Logai managing to survive, but Bear not out of the harm's way just quite yet. Soapy
Nice
Meister with the bomb is going to take down Dingo and Baradactyl. And it's only going to be Exile, the last one, not a respawner, gets taken down over in house.
Yeah. Grape Juice is in. There's a lot of eyes on him. That means no, just like that. No eyes on him, Yosh gets that kill. So that's one of the benefits of having that sniper, right? If your team puts everybody... Okay, he kills the other sniper. Or, excuse me, Kobe's off sniper. He kills Kobe again. They just kind of need to bomb him, right? Like, Dingo can't do a lot of denial, right? Okay, never mind. Yosh just kills him.
Oh
and
my
Yosh!
Yosh!
He's heating up. All right.
Okay. Yosh has had enough. He has seen all the destruction. The seam of destruction. Soapy Meister with the flank, not going to be able to get the kill. Froyotech, they want to get aggressive here. They want to take down the sniper. They're bombing him so deep. Oh my god. They do manage to find him. Bear, not having Uber just quite yet, is going to have to retreat. Want to try and keep Dingo alive. Not going to be able to, but more importantly, keeps himself alive. So that's going to be enough for Froyotech to take control of the middle. But you got to say, that last kind of a 2 minutes from Fjord Gaming, the best they've looked so far in this match.
Oh, just keep him on sniper, man. Come on. Oh. That's the most success you were having, and Dingo's immediately dead. They're forward holding Cliff.
Oh.
That's an interesting one. Dingo's dead, so this push out is going to be really rough. They do take down Kobe, who was a little too aggressive, though, so that's an okay trade. As long as no one else feeds in the next few seconds, you are going to have Dingo for this fight. You don't need the cap time yet. And they lose Alex. They got a little too eager.
They did get a little too eager. They are going to use their Uber. Can they find... They were kind of chasing some of the soldiers. Froyotech have theirs as well. Not having to use... They find an early one on the Grape Juice. Yosh in the back lines, just trying to buy as much time as possible. But I don't even think that Fjord are going to be able to get that point. Dingo bombing in super deep once again. Wants to... Not going to find it. Gets air shot up against the wall. Logai managing to survive. They do find a couple of the Froyotech flank players as Alexandros bombs in. Late bomb. Not going to find anything. Exile rushing forward. Can he find anything? He might be able to take down Habib. Does do so, but no one has managed to touch Logai. Going to be coming out of that unscathed with big Uber.
Yeah, and while this is... Okay, Yoshi's back on sniper, so good. But while this... As he gets bombed... All right, he's going to back up good. While this has all been going on, that was like 30 seconds of all of that, and Froyo had the point the entire time. So... there was I think a brief period of time where Fjord was actually up as far as time goes. Logai does use in. They're gonna lose Yosh. If Bear can live, this is... Oh, Bear's stuck in house.
Oh, he is stuck in house, but he might be able to survive, and they're rushing forward towards the point. Bear doesn't have just quite yet, but it doesn't seem like they're getting the picks either. It's only going to be Exile on point, and that's going to be it. Froyotech should be able to eke out the remainder of this cap time and win a third round. And if you're Fjord Gaming and you wanted to try and take this series at 1-0 in terms of maps, you gotta pull something out here because your backs are up against the wall.
You need Yosh sniper, and I really think you need one of your soldiers to go scout. I've been saying it. Kobe did check it, so they do know that Yosh is going to be on sniper. You need 2 scouts, right? Because anytime Yosh dies, it's literally just this. The soldiers just bomb in and try... Oh, nice shot out of Alex. Yosh is killed, but that's a fine trade, honestly. Sniper for a soldier. We're just getting trades back and forth. Both soldiers are dead out of Froyotech. This technically can benefit... Oh, Dingo. He needs to hit something. Okay. I was going to say this could benefit Fjord just based off of the pure burst damage that was available, but you can't do that. You can't get aggressive like that. Nice shot. Yep. All right. He's still heating up. He's still there. He has the shot on the little guy.
He's getting bombed now, just not going to be able to stay alive. Speedy just barely getting that kill and staying alive himself. Soapy finding one onto Grape Juice over on the flank. So without being 2 down, they're going to have to back up, retreat onto Cliff as they wait for Yosh to come back up. He's been hitting shots, and it really does seem like he is their potential path to some type of victory. It's just a question of, are they going to be able to keep him alive and give him the opportunities to get them into advantageous positions? As a soldier does bomb, Speedy try to go for the spoon, not going to find it, as Soapy finds Grape Juice again on the flank.
Yeah, it's... With this sniper, you need to play around him, and you cannot get aggressive on the flank. You basically need to hope that your sniper's hitting the shots, right? And again, it's Yosh. They're going to hit the shots, but they need to play around them and him. And they're really not.
Yeah, they're not. They're going to be taking the Uber in. They do take down Speedy, not going to be able to be in the Froyotech counter Uber being used across the point. Soapy over in the backlines, but it doesn't matter. Froyotech are just wiping what's ever in front of them. Bear going to be a late dev Exile as well in a 1v1 with Kobe, not going to win it. And that is a complete and utter wipe. Everyone on Fjord Gaming dead.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much positive to come out of that. Actually, no, I lied. The positive wall guy doesn't have Uber, so it makes this forward hold a little bit easier to break, right? You don't hold necessarily as aggressive. It is a little bit easier to get that medic to back up. You have Exile on Sniper. Okay.
Ooh, all right. Exile
and he's
up on Sniper. Wait, really?
Yeah, he was on Sniper for like 2 seconds on Pyro now.
Okay.
This is fine. He's hitting the reflex. His team isn't taking that much damage relatively. Grape Juice and Yosh died, but people in Froyo were pretty hurt. And they're just down 3. So you gotta back up. Forward hold is still there. So like that's the thing with like the forward hold. Is your goal to kill the medic or is your goal to break out of the forward hold? You usually cannot do both, right? Like you need to focus on one of those. Are you gonna zone them? Or are you gonna go low guy? Half the team did a really good job of zoning them and getting them off the forward hold. The problem is I think the other half kind of were focused on just getting the kills, which wasn't the right move. Soldier solo comes in out of Froyo. Exile is dead. Bear's gonna live, but like 3 other people are dead. I mean, yeah, forward hold on product is rough.
Yeah, it is rough. Definitely the cough map with the most dangerous or difficult to break forward hold. Yosh does win a 1 against Kobe, and that might be just enough to help them, but with Peeb getting that kill onto Exile, they're now flooding through main. They have to stand onto the point. There's only a couple seconds left before Froyotech take the first map flawlessly again, and with everyone being sent to the respawn room, I think they've just about done it. 4-0 for Froyotech, continuing their no rounds lost record.
Yeah, and there were brief bursts where Fjord was like showing that they could do it, right? And it wasn't even Froyotech kind of being a little troll, like, you know, with some of those forward holds or whatever. There were legitimate moments where it seemed like they were kind of figuring it out, and then Soapy would just bomb in and kill like 3 people. It's rough. The easiest way to say it, that was just a rough map.
Yeah, it was a rough map, and you can see why Froyotech picked it, because they absolutely excelled at it. I don't know if you have the logs up.
I do.
Okay.
That's a rough log. I mean...
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, to be fair, it is a 4-0 on products. Mm-hmm. You know, there are some things that you got to take into account, but I mean, just even from the DPM, Soapy Meister top damaging, having an absolute great time out there, getting 430 DPM, and just absolutely insane. And the other thing is Lol Guy only dying twice, Cronjington Magoo, aka Pterodactyl, dying 10 times.
Yeah, I mean, this is the type of log this is what you're gonna see in a roll, especially on product, right? The scouts aren't doing horrible, like 16 and 21 on Yosh, 14 and 17 on Exile. That's fine, right? And then you're gonna see the explosive classes just getting absolutely decimated. 8 and 23, 4 and 19, 2 and 28, right? I'm hesitant to say that's like a individual thing though. Like when you're getting rolled like that, it's not. You're not the sole reason for you having that stat line. Your team is getting decimated. It's really hard to do anything. So I would treat this kind of just as a wash. If I'm Fjord, just move on to the next, because you're not going to gain anything by thinking about what was going on there.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. You kind of have to do a little bit of a mental reset. If you're going to go on into this next map with at least a mental hope of being able to win it, which, you know, it is Fjord Gaming's map pick. It is going to be Gullywash, and I think it is probably the most different you could get from, you know, products or something like that. You know, Gullywash, one, it's a 5 CP, and also I'd say it's one is the chokier 5 CPs, it's not necessarily slow, which I kind of think of Metaworks, but it can be very stalematey. So I think if they're looking for a little bit of a different game, then this is probably their best shot.
Yeah, it's definitely product and just kind of Koth in general are really hard to play the game that you want to play, I guess, right? There's kind of you're playing it like a Koth map, but with Gullywash specifically and other 5 CPs to a lesser extent, you can set the pace a little bit better, right? If you're struggling on mids, you can just kind of show up to mid and then bail, and all of a sudden we're in a stalemate if you want, right? There's no we're just going to get rolled on mid no matter what happens, and now we're in this bad situation. Um, yeah, it can be very stalematey, just like you said. It doesn't have to be, though. If a team knows how to push goalie and is competent at it, it can actually go pretty fast if they know what they're doing. Shove big door, get a player or two behind, and pressure cook like that, things like that. Or run a spy even, or a sniper. There's a lot of ways to break it that I don't think a lot of teams really explore. But granted, this is Invite, and one of the teams is Froyotech. I think I'm hesitant to say that we're going to see a lot of really long stalemates.
Yeah, no, that is very fair because even if I'd say probably the hold between mid and second is a bit more choky, but we've already kind of seen. I think it was this season Froyotech managing to push last without using Uber. It was an even Uber stalemate situation, and this is, like you said, where the pressure cooker kind of originated from. It's just Gullywash last. There's so many ways to break into it, so many different angles that as a defending team, you really have to be kind of proactive almost versus maybe some other maps like Snakewater where you can be a little bit more cozy.
It's simultaneously the easiest and the hardest last to both hold and push, in my opinion. Because, yeah, just like you said, if you don't know how to pressure cook, which is kind of, it's basically the meta in a lot of ways of pushing last, if you don't know how to do it, you're going to struggle very hard because just sending a 2-man, right, that doesn't work, especially if they have a gun /pyro/heavy. On the other hand, if you don't know how to deal with a pressure cook, you're going to get pushed on last consistently every single time. So it's really, I'm curious about, I know Froyotech is going to be able to push last, right? Like, that's no doubt in my mind. They know how to pressure cook. They're all good at that. I'm curious about how Fjord holds. The two things I'm curious about, how they play the mids, right? Because they were getting beat pretty bad on the mids on product. So I'm wondering if they change things up with their general reaction. Maybe they play it a little more passive and just opt for a stalemate, right? I'm curious about that. And I'm curious about what their deal with last is, right? If they have that understanding of Gullywash last, where they can make this a competitive game. Because honestly, that's kind of, I mean, it's like that with all 5 CPs, but I think Gullywash especially, like, knowing how last works just as a concept really makes or breaks this map. Snakewater's hard to push no matter what, right? Like, Snakewater's pretty, works the same for everybody. You can't really pressure cook, right? Process works similar for everybody. Because Gullywash has those intricacies that other maps don't, I'm just curious to see if they are able to take advantage of that.
Hopefully they will be able to. I think kind of for their sake, or maybe the viewers at home wanting some type of, like you said, competitive game, or just to see Froyotech lose their first round of the season. Whatever reason you might have, Fjord Gaming being able to do their own pressure cooking or being able to deal with Froyotech's is going to be vital if they want any chance of winning this game, because I think the next one after this, if we get there, Sunshine, which is obviously a lot easier, I guess, comparatively to Gullywash, just in terms of I guess pressure cooking potential, but to kind of deal with. But if they're able to get there, I think being able to have a strong last, just in general, is really what is going to be able to either keep them in the fight or get the head. Because I can see them maybe getting the Froyotech's last. Like, maybe they have a really good mid. Maybe that's part of the reason why they picked this. They have a really great mid game plan, but if they don't know how to push last, like you said, and they're and on the flip side, if they have a very weak last hold, then I think it's just going to be too difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just kind of. I think the first mid is really going to set the tone. Uh, I'm kind of curious what Froyo does, right? I'm of the camp where I think they're just gonna have Soapy and Speedy just go immediately and just go into them. But that can not be the most successful way to take this mid. You would think, being a map with a lot of chokes, being a relatively smaller mid, that would be successful. But if the other team is able to kite and kind of absorb what your soldiers are doing, all of a sudden it's like a 6v4 or like a 5v4, right? So I don't know. I want to see what they do with, especially with their own soldiers. Are they going to play on the floor? Are they going to send grape juice in immediately? Because it wasn't working on products. Basically every mid, as soon as the soldiers on Fjord bombed, it was over. You could immediately tell it was over, and you could tell that Froyotech were expecting that.
Yeah, that is kind of the danger with Froyotech, is that they all of them combined have probably seen maybe not every play in the book, but they've seen a lot of them, and they've written quite a few of those pages as well. At least Banny has. So it's kind of, especially with, like you said, such a good roster, it's hard to kind of either get them on their toes or keep them on their toes a little bit. But we do have one team readied up, waiting for Kobe to make his re-debut back into the server. Hopefully, maybe just trying to make sure he doesn't crash again. So better to get that all sorted out before the game than during. Completely understand. But I guess while we have this time, we've been speaking about, this is Fjord's last opportunity if they want to win this best of 3 or take us to a map 3. What do you think the scoreline is going to be? I'm going to say I think they can get around here. I think it's doable for them. I don't think that they're going to be able to go the whole way. I would love to be proven wrong and be taken to a map 3, but I'm going to say 5-1 for Froyo.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's Gullywash is definitely, in my opinion, the map that's the easiest to just roll around on, right? You can just get that mid, and by the time they're up, you're already on their last with Uber, right? So there is a world where that just happens, or some crazy spy play out of Yosh or Alex or something, right? Like it definitely feels doable. It's just a matter of if it actually happens. Because that's kind of like the thing with TF2, right? It's for any NFL football fans, it's the any given Sunday thing, right? Anybody can beat anybody. It doesn't feel realistic some of the times. This is one of the times I truly do believe they are going to get around, just based off of how Gullywash works. I've seen a lot of the times teams that are worse on Gully will either flat out just win, or will make it way more competitive, and just due to the nature of this map.
Yeah, no, it definitely can be. I mean, it's been somewhat of a map like that for many, kind of, I'd say, maybe four for third place teams up against sometimes the top 2 or just the playoff teams. Just because like you said, it can be that. It can be a map where you can maybe mid to last a little bit easier, and mid, it just takes one soldier going through drop down that for some reason was unspotted, or someone spotted it, they didn't call it, or something like that. It's got that potential to potentially have a kind of a big or unexpected turnaround in the mid just through one small mistake. So if Fjord are on the better side of that, then they can definitely take advantage and maybe take Froyotech's first round. But Froyotech, Banny, not one. He wants to win this as dominantly as possible. That is his agenda. And so far, I don't think you can have any complaints about how they've been performing. Obviously, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but Froyotech, this roster, at least we believe, is kind of a response to the beating that happened at Fireside Denver. The North Americans, we lost. It sucks to suck for us. But this is you can blame Australia in Europe for the dominance that we've seen in our specific region so far. Because I think all of these guys, they wanna give it back to them and re-establish North America as the best. So if this pays off in that respect, then maybe this is all worth it. But at the meantime, it's a lot of Froyo winning.
Yeah, but it is good to have that, like, that fire, right? Like, and I really hope that whenever the next international LAN is, again, I haven't been following TF2 that closely for the last little bit, but whenever the next international LAN is, I really hope we get a North American team who are firing on all cylinders and have that drive to do it, because in my humble opinion, I think that it will be the best team in the world. I don't think it's, America over everybody all the time, blah, blah, blah. But I think that the ceiling that the rosters that we can make, honestly, like this one right here, like the ceiling is incredibly high. And I don't think we've seen an NA team hit that in a while for whatever reason.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree in the fact that, they've decided to take this time to play this season. Kind of shows their commitment to make it so, and hopefully they'll be able to stick together until the next international LAN, whenever that is. I think might be Poland LAN, but I don't want to put words or actions in their mouths until it's been officially confirmed. But I believe that is somewhat, at least rumored to be the idea, at least for them. But, it is essentially a super team of G6, Froyo, and then you can put Speedy up in Legacy there, your last season RGL LAN winners as well, which was an upset in its own right, because I think a lot of people thought Mama's Boys were going to be able to take the crown, but as we do have Kobe now in the server at the bare minimum, hopefully Froyotech are going to be able to get us ready. Not sure what they're going to be going over, maybe just a few last minute details, some things to anticipate, because actually one thing we didn't really talk about is Sniper. You don't see it too often, but Sniper can be okay, I think, sometimes on Gullywash, especially Big Door, if you can get a little cheeky peek down there. And I forget, maybe it was Australia, but there was one team that used to run a Sniper to mid. They just post him over by Big Door and just hope the soldiers didn't bomb him in time, and he was able to get some headshots. So maybe that's something that Fjord can do with Yosh.
Yeah, it can be. It can be successful, just like you said. That Big Door sightline is incredible. The issue with Big Door is, like you said, if you get bombed by a soldier, you're in a box, right? You're dying in Big Door, or you're getting pushed out so far that you're not having an impact on mid for 5 to 10 seconds. So they could do it. I'm doubtful they will. Are they going to prove me wrong? Let's see. Nope.
Yeah, well, they proved you right, as they are going to be all standard sixes heading over onto mid. This is going to be the second map of the best of 3. Froyotech winning the first one very dominantly. Our Fjord going to be able to respond as we go live on the mid. Kobe playing the rogue low ground with Soapy. No one committing just quite yet. Taking a lot of damage onto the Froyotech soldiers. They find Kobe and Soapy, but G6 flank being taken down. Oh, but Habib just absolutely destroying with that sticky.
He had like an aggressive kind of trap going on, I believe is what happened. And they got too eager that, oh my god, we're winning mid. And now we have this result. Yeah, I mean, it was going really well. So basically, Grape Juice got down to like 5 immediately. And 3 or 4 people on Froyo made it their mission to kind of spam him down and kill him. So it was almost a win, but Habib bailing him out, Alexandro's solo bomb, he is gonna live, but nothing else is really gonna come up. The Exile's already on last. Where is the gun? Where does Exile build his gun?
Seems like he's gonna build it. Yeah, right spawn. They got Yosha up on Sniper, trying to hit some type of miraculous shot. They are going to be able to use in through Shutter. Habib not dying to the Sniper. They do have Grape Juice lurking in secret. Is going to take some time to get onto the point. Should be able to get Fanny and delay a little bit. Does a lot of damage on the Kobe, but Soapy just standing on it is going to be able to clean it up. That's going to be 1-0 for Froyo.
Yeah, 1-0 for Froyo. And again, it's you lose your med on mid, right? Like that's Gullywash. You lose your med on mid, it is really hard to hold last. So treat it like a wash. Let's go to the next mid. The mid, they were doing good up until, you know, Habib did Habib things. But it was going relatively well. They were absorbing the aggression really well. They were playing off each other really well. And I think Grape Juice is just dead. Yeah.
Yeah, Grape Juice is just dead, dying pretty early on that mid. They can try and stay in, but it seems like they're trying to back up. Dingo is going to get taken down by bleed damage. That is going to be super unfortunate. Yosh actually does get the ball onto Habib, so kind of returning a little bit of the favor. But Yosh and Bear just managing to barely get out. Maybe like Yosh maybe wanted to fight that soldier, but Bear already out of it. Alexandria's dying very late over in Upper River, and that's just going to mean that Froyotech have a man advantage to already try and pressure in on the last one.
Yeah, Soapy's already in water. They saw him go there, but again, it is a 5v6. It makes this hard. They know he's there. I think they know about Kobe too. Oh, Habib is destroying these people playing the point. Soapy's there, Kobe's there. Yosh gets cleaned up, immediately traded onto Soapy. Exo's running it. Habib does take him down. He's on the low guy for free. The force does come out.
That is so huge from Exile, and they're not going to have to use their own Uber. And it seems like they already want to try and push out, make sure that they clear this while everyone on Froyotech is leaving and the respawners aren't there yet. But Grape Juice is going to be bombing in. Yeah, going to be able to just barely get out as they managed to push out onto their second Soapy, playing the big door, but not going to be able to go for any type of flank play. That's going to be a successful last hold for Fjord.
Yeah, this is looking really good for them. I mean, they have 50% ed. They're going to be able to get in. Habib does have big door stuck, though. They use in, so those 6 are going to be irrelevant. Dingo kind of... Oh, please don't let Dingo die. Okay. Kobe is still alive somehow. He does finally get cleaned up. Low guy does not have, so this should be a mid for Fjord. They do lose Grape Juice. Alex threw drop down, takes down Benny, takes down Speedy. Hold on for a second. They take down Habib. Low guy's dead, too.
This is it. Soapy Meister is just barely going to be able to get out, but this is kind of what we said. Yosh is going to be able to start doing it, but they have to spawn camp Froyotech this time. If the mid cap doesn't go in, you see Kobe just lurking in the forward spawn, kind of recognizing it, and they are going to all get the forward spawn. Question is, are they going to go out to fight it? No, they are going to wait for the back spawn, and that means this is going to be very big Uber advantage for Fjord Gaming. And I don't want to say this for certain, Uni, but this could be their best shot at getting around.
Yeah, Kobe is in here, River. I think they've spotted him. They have. They do know he's there. This is a weird situation for them to be in now, because Kobe's getting supported by the medic. They can't really cross, and yeah, they just dropped to the floor. They're going into lobby. They still have 50% ad, so, like, this should be pretty... Oh, Dingo's getting juggled. It's all of a sudden not very good. The gun is about to get taken down. It does. Uber's just now fading. Everybody's in spawn. They don't have really kills or cap time. You need one or the other. Habib's getting run down on point, though. That's huge. Exile takes on Habib. Alexandros trades. All right. 5v5. Exile is now dead. Dingo needs to get a kill or get out. They're going to lose him. Oh.
Grape Juice on the point. He was the paint train. Froyotech lose their first round in the entire season. Grape Juice shouting out Marmalou with the paint train. As that is one from a former Froyotech Roamers playbook right there. The paint train on the Roamers. So Grape Juice using it to great effect there. And I mean, their first round in this series, I mean, they've done it before. Can they do it some more, Uni?
They could. Soapy going aggressive. He's going to take down Dingo. He should get cleaned up. Yoshi's dead as well. Grape Juice is going to die in this corner here. And did Bear die and all that? No, he didn't. He got out with Exile. Okay. Yeah, so that's a mid of like, all right, we lost a round. We just need to kill them now. They went uber aggressive, and, you know, it's Soapy, right? It's Soapy and Speedy and everybody else. They're just going to kill them all. They are pressuring last. They do not have I really like this pressure, but they can't do a huge amount, right? Because they don't even have second yet. Yoshi is up on Sniper. They know he's there. They're going to have Uber. So this is the first real, like, stalemate that we've kind of seen so far. I'm curious how... Okay, I was going to say how we break it. Soapy dead. So that does open up a little bit. Does Yoshi get off Sniper, or does he stay on it? He does stay on it. I mean, there's not a lot that you can do out of Gullywash last, right? Like...
Grape Juice is very deep over in main and is going to get taken down. And that is going to be essentially a counter sack, maybe a little bit late, as Soapy has essentially already arrived back with the rest of the team. And Kobe getting so much cap time on the point. Speedy finding Yosh as well. This is going to be great for Froyotech. Kobe not even dying, getting so much cap time. You can see Soapy waddling his way over. He's over in River. Oh, he gets on the Dingo. There's going to be no stickies on the point to block, but Habib does get bombed. Grape Juice doing so. Oh my, Habib with that pipe to save himself. That's going to be insane. They do find Soapy. Speedy should be taken down over and lower here, managing to stay alive. They're getting so much space. Finally, they get him, but Bear drops Habib with the pipe. And now this is Froyotech's round to win. They do have some respawners, but it's not going to be enough. As they actually, they're using onto the point. They might be able to block on long enough. Grape Juice is going to be able to go for a bomb. Yosh managing to stay alive, trying to keep this on as long as possible. They now have Bear up, but I think Bear maybe needed to go Pyro or something, because a medic versus 5 Froyotech players, that ain't going to go.
Yeah, they were doing a really good job of holding that until the Bear drop, actually. I said they should have used into them, and they were just getting kills. I think they were actually about to get another before Bear dropped. So, alright. Still 2-1. It's relatively competitive right now. Aside from Kobe having 28 points, everyone else is relatively even. So, we're pretty even right now. Grape Juice with a massive bomb. He doesn't commit, though. He's just getting eyes on him. Okay, now he commits. But look at okay, Alex is dead. I was going to say Froyo is pretty backed up, and all of a sudden Fjord is down 3. They got to get out.
Yep, they do got to get out. Will Dingo manage to get out? Yes, nice bow from Bear to be able to keep him alive. Froyotech going to be able to get mid and second to boot, so they're going to be feeling pretty good. Once again, Bear managing to live through the mid, and that's going to have to be the lifeline for Fjord Gaming as they're back on their last. Like you said, they had an okay last hold until they Bear dropped, essentially. And the first time on the, what was it, the first round? Or the second round, they were able to at least push out from last, so it seems like they've got something at least to play with on these last. And Exile getting a stab on the Soapy. I didn't even see that.
Yep, it was immediate. He went into lobby and just immediately stabbed Soapy. He's gonna get off Spy, which is interesting. They're really worried about a Spy, so Exile could make some. Oh, he's just going up, just going up on NG. Wait, the Spy was just to get him time to build on NG. That's awesome. That's so funny. Okay, I guess it works. So they know there's no Spy now because they see the sniper and the NG. They don't have the Spy to worry about. Kobe is down here in water. No one knows about him, I don't think. There is a soldier and a sniper on ring.
Oh, they have a little bit of a cap time from Kobe, getting a bit of it. They wanted to try and spam down the sentry gun, but Bandit getting taken down. Kobe taking down. No scouts for Froyotech as Soapy does go in. Does so much damage, but Bear holding on to it.
Alex is in 2, he kills Habib.
Oh my god, Speedy.
Yeah, this is free.
Great.
This is a free second, essentially. Yosh is on Pyro. Is this a thing?
I mean, I saw Mela do it like back in 2012.
Don't remind me, man. I had to play against it. All right, yeah. He's not doing it. I thought he was doing it. He's not. Oh, they do have Kobe on step. Oh, Dingo's dead.
Oh, that's not going to be good, as now Froyotech, they have their own Uber. Kobe still up on sniper over towards Big Door. Yosh going to get taken down, so they're going to have to go into them. They are going to use the Uber. Lol Guy is finally going to use in response. They should be able to take down Grape Juice. They might find Exile, tries to go for the Basher jump, but not going to be able to get out to safety. It's only Alexandros and Dingo, the last 2 left alive, as they try and stem the tide of Froyotech players coming in. And I just don't think they're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, Spoon comes out. Yosh hit a nice shot. Great rock out on the Soapy. He's not going to get clean. He does get cleaned up, actually. Yosh on Pyro. There's a world if they get on point. No, okay. If the Pyro got on a point, I could have seen it happening. Doesn't happen, though. It is 3-2-1. I don't know. What do you think they can do different on mid?
I feel like they just kind of take a few fights on different sides of the map. Like, I think that first time, the 2 scouts, Yosh and Exile, were kind of trying to 2v1, maybe Banny, and then they just got hit in the back with a rocket, and just, I don't know, it seems like the fights that they're taking, they're not able to win them. They're not getting the better of a damage trade, but Grape Juice gonna be able to work his way back to the team. There is someone in behind it, is Soapy Meister, has been spotted. Nice
Good
kill from
kill.
Yosh. It's gonna be even as Exile immediately goes down Speedy, bombing in a lot of damage onto Yosh, gonna be able to get the kill. And now they're gonna have to back up. Bomb from Alexandros pops the little guy up into the sky, but nice serve to be able to stay alive. And that is gonna be a Fjord Gaming in a world of trouble as Habib bombs them. Bear doesn't have Uber. It's only Dingo. It does trade out, but that's gonna be Froyotech winning another mid.
Yeah, it's zoning, right? That entire mid was literally just zoning. Soapy went behind, got in a choke, made Dingo stay in a weird position, forced Bear to stay in the elbow, and then his entire team just slowly moved forward, right? After that trade even happened, they got Grape Juice. I think it was Grape Juice. They put Grape Juice in a corner and just ran him down, and then they collapsed on everybody else. It was relatively textbook in that regard. There wasn't anything super crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and that is sometimes the sign of a great team. They just look at the textbook and they're able to execute it almost perfectly. Froyotech doing that at the moment, but we've already seen Fjord. They do have what it takes to at least get around as they're trying to. Nice air blast blocking from Exile as the Uber comes in. Gonna be able to find Yosh and the Sentry Gun. Good opening pick for Froyotech. Banny trying to play the point, but Uber not gonna be able to find it, but they're just getting so many kills that it doesn't matter anyways. It's only gonna be Grape Juice and Dingo. Dingo actually finding a couple, finding a few, but it's not gonna be enough. I think he got like 2 kills there, but there's just too many for him to deal with.
Yeah, I think they just kind of ran onto the point, right? Because when it's only a demo and a soldier, and you know where both of them are, you can kind of just run at them and give up 1 or 2 of your lives. You know you're going to kill them eventually. But, alright. 4-1. I'm curious what Fjord do, because they've done the aggressive bomb. That hasn't worked. They put the one mid they played under pretty effectively, actually. It worked really well. Soapy, it's just a double bomb. Alex is dead. I mean, Bear is like 5 health. He's dead. They do kill Soapy. Exile's dead. Benny should get cleaned up by Yosh here. This mid isn't 100% over yet, right? It's not the worst thing in the world. But as I said, that Yosh is going to get run down. I didn't realize his teammates were all the way out already. So.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for Yosh because I could see that Grape Juice and Dingo were already up in river. But Exile gets a headshot onto Habib, and that is going to be enough to slow Froyotech down and maybe buy a little bit of time for Fjord to get some defenses up on last.
It does buy time, right? You can't use the demo to kind of spam and get aggressive, but they haven't really needed him on these last. They've been getting so much just early pressure before they use Uber, and it's really just been the soldiers. Like Banny slightly, but it's mostly been these soldiers. Exile does not have the gun up, and it seems like they know where it's getting built because they saw him move it. The Uber comes in, Habib immediately takes the gun. Yosh is dead on Sniper. Yep. They do take down Kobe, actually. Dingo's dead. This is looking rough. It's not over yet. Okay, now it's over.
It is over. Grape Juice going to be able to get a trade, but that is going to be it. 5-1 for Froyotech. 2-0 in terms of the overall series, and they have guaranteed them a spot in the upper bracket finals. They win that, they're going to be going on to grand finals. Fjord Gaming, they have got to play the loser of Global Clan Zhao versus Moneyballs, which I think is going to happen on Sunday. The teams might reschedule, but otherwise, dominant showing from Froyotech all throughout tonight.
Yeah, just very dominant overall. I mean, good on Fjord for getting that round. Like, that, it wasn't really a fluke round either. Everything that happened in the round they got was off of a good play. They supported each other really well, right? It wasn't just they lost mid and rolled into it. So really good on them to make that happen. Froyotech does not have a perfect season anymore. I think they got... I don't know if they got pissed or they just started taking it seriously, because after that it was just over. There was no, like... wasn't much sign of life from Fjord after that round, but good on them for getting it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, they're the first team to do so to Froyotech, to get just a round on them at all. It shows that how dominant Froyotech have been. As hopefully we can look at maybe one of the other two teams in the playoffs, Global Clan Zhao or maybe Moneyballs, to give Froyotech some type of competition. But we're gonna have to see who they play up against as when we cover that match next. But I mean, aside from, you know, just kind of insane damage, Habib 428 DPM, just it's Habib in a 5-1 on Gully. What can you say type of thing. It's been a pretty good from Froyo.
Yeah, it's aside from that one round, it was basically perfect. There wasn't a whole lot to really hang your to really get caught up on. I mean, I'm sure Banny has a bunch, right? He's a man who understands TF2 a lot better than I do, so he probably has a good amount of stuff that he's gonna think about and talk to his team about, etc. But from the observer perspective, there wasn't a whole lot that they were necessarily doing wrong, aside from getting a little overzealous here and there, and then they immediately recovered.
Yeah, they did essentially almost play perfectly. Just fortunate the one time little guy dies when they lose. I think it's when they lost the round.
Mm-hmm.
So little guy just shows the strength of a really great medic. Little guy, probably the best in the business, I think it'd be fair to say. But I think that's going to be it for us tonight. Froyotech winning 2-0 in terms of maps, 4-0 on product, 5-1 on Gully. They're going to be going to the upper bracket final, and Anglerfish going to be going to the lower bracket final. We'll be back, I think, maybe Sunday, unless they reschedule, which is when Global Clan Zhao versus Moneyballs will be. If not, we'll notify you on probably Discord or something in Discord ping whenever we do go live. Unicorn Wizard, any kind of final words or shout outs you'd like to give?
Shout out to Fjord. It's hard to show up against a team that is just having the kind of season that Froyotech's having, and they did, for everything going against them, they played really well, right? Like, it was always going to be a rough match, but that, again, to get that round, it sounds like I'm just trying to find something positive. I'm really not. Like, that's something that you really can have a lot of, that's a confidence build. That's something you can really feel good about. So good on them. Hopefully they can get some stuff figured out. You know, maybe Jared coming back will, not that Dingo played bad at all, but maybe with their you know, team leader, or a huge part of their team, you know, they've all been playing, a lot of them have been playing together for a long time, so maybe that will help them a bunch. Hopefully, yeah, lower bracket finals looks a little bit better for them.
Yeah, hopefully it does. We will cover that here on RGL whenever it happens. Same thing with the upper bracket finals and obviously grand finals as well. Until then, hope you have a great night, and we'll see you next time.